And there again, you see, another critique of the neoliberal economics from where I come from, the world is you would never sow an oak tree, because oak trees are meant for your great, 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 great grandchildren. Now, in the community of life, where I come from, they are king because they support 300 other species. Some of them, they're the only support in the world. So if the oak became extinct, 3 and 4 other species of wasp would actually become extinct with them. So I think it's a very good symbol for me, because that's what we're talking about, like mutually supportive relationships, and then we get the natural world to do that. But like if you put in Sitka spruce, which will be harvestable within 16 years, it supports nothing. You might get a few pigeons, stray pigeons around, and in actual fact, it probably is doing damage to the trout rivers, because it probably is secreting acids into them.
Did you see Tom Friedman's op-ed in the New York Times a week or two ago?
No.
It was amazing. Thomas Friedman writing really strongly worded that we cannot grow anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
And like you wouldn't expect it from Tom.
He'd be an interesting person to
Yeah.
try to get to. Approach him about getting a bunch of economists.
Well, for me, it was interesting about 4 months ago to see that it was the new scientist was actually saying this is crazy.
Yeah.
The mathematics of this are crazy. I have great fear, though, with myself, with the whole ability of the neoliberal world to reinvent itself. You see, people are saying now to us that they didn't know this was happening, and it kind of crept up on us. Like anyone who was in the third world debt reality of the 1970s, no, this is exactly the same thing. The only difference was that I couldn't have come in here in the United States, or in Ireland, or in Britain, or in Australia, and said the bankers were a shower of you-know-what, expletive, believe it. Because you wouldn't believe me. Even people in NGOs would be slow to believe you. Now you can do it because it's so obvious. But this is exactly what they did. And then when the poor people, when Mexico decided it was going to renege on its debt in 1982 in August, the Bank and Fund moved in, with strong arms. Now, at least this time, your governments are at least talking about rescuing the middle class. It'll be interesting to see how they succeed. But that wasn't the talk on third world debt. The talk on third world debt was divide and conquer. We'll give Mexico the best deal. We'll give Argentina the best next deal after that, and Philippines. So any hope, and you were on, Kath, any hope there was in those years of getting a cartel of the debtors, they blew it out of the water by their divide and conquer, by the colonial policies. So we've seen it all, and I keep saying this. And yet, they're now telling us this is the first time it happened. And I really feel if they get through it, they'll be back as arrogant and as offensive and as dismissive as they were.
Go back. The first big depression was the same.
First big depression, but I mean this is in our historic memory. But like it was happened to
It's in my historic memory.
The first one is but it was merely third world people. It didn't matter. So what else was there? The recognised connection between agriculture. Yes, they do. See, one of the things actually, one of the areas, like most of the science of climate change is robust. The data on it. Going back from simple calculations of thermometers to dendrology to isotopes. But I mean, the one area that there's still a lot of genuine discussion is the carbon cycle. The hydrological cycle is very simple it's not very simple, but it's easy enough because the residency time of molecule of water in the atmosphere is whatever, I think it's 3 or 4 days, at very most of 5. But what is the resonant thing? And how does it relate to degradation of landscape, of trees, of soils, and of the upper ocean? So there's genuine still not unanimity in that area, but it doesn't take away from the fact that 800 gigatons of carbon of historic carbon have been put up there, and the residency time is probably close to 1,000 years, actually. Because in actual fact you're continually recycling it, and the only way to take carbon out of the equation actually is through the oceans, where dead creatures and matter sink to the bottom of the. But that's a very slow process. And the tragedy, you see, is the way we're affecting the oceans now, and with the warming and interfering with the phytoplankton, who are one of the major photosynthesizers. We're actually increasing the amount, and we're decreasing the ability of the living world to actually fix carbon. Which is one of the reasons I do support reforestation programs, as long as they're within the biological world and the botanical world of the Pterocarp forest or the Narra, whatever the forests were. But certainly not putting into plantations. So there. Okay.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We appreciate you spending some time with us.
Not at all. I'm sorry I'm not more conversant with the up-to-date thing on trade, because I kind of, as I say, I follow at the moment climate change and GM, and it takes a lot of my waking hours.
Did you have a question, Michael?
I was just going to thank you for cheering us up.
Cheering us up.